All right, Hunter Man.
We're back.
We're back, and we are live. We are in the penthouse here at Mudhole, and got a pretty interesting show tonight. Something
Definitely,
that's,
yeah.
you know, a little different. You know, I would say it's not bass fishing, it's not ice fishing, and there's really not even fish involved.
Not really. It's more of a hunt, I guess you could say.
Yep,
you know?
absolutely.
So, yeah, definitely a little toss-up for you guys tonight. We've got the cold-blooded rod build headed your way.
No doubt.
So we're going to be tapping into our true Florida roots here.
Yep.
And talking about gator hunting, fishing,
Yeah.
something like that.
Absolutely. All of that.
All of it.
All that. So, you know, it's that time of year. Gator hunting's going down in Florida. We were privileged enough to go hunt with RT and the boys over at God's Country Outfitters, and we'll show you a really cool clip later that the guys put together. It was an absolute ball, and we're going to walk you through my thought process and the team's thought process of, all right, so we're going to build this rod, we're going to film it, what are we going to do? And really, I talked to RT, and he was like, well, we got 500-pound braid and the biggest spinning reel that you can hang on to. I said, okay. Cool, so we're going to figure that out.
Yeah.
So, you know, I went to the drawing board and went through, so I thought about, you know, we had Big Show, Terry Scroggins, you know, MLF Bass Pro. He's just larger-than-life guy in himself. He's just a ball to hang out with. So, you know, he was telling us about it. We had 500-pound braid. I had 250-pound braid on a little bit lighter rod. We're going to do big Underwraps tonight. We're going to talk about installing, you know, large EVA, how to work with bigger blanks and things like that, what goes into catching an alligator, and things like that. So that's what you're going to get on the show, something different.
Yeah, very, very different for sure. But there are some similarities to the stuff we're going to show you tonight that might spill over into the saltwater rod that you're building or even a heavy freshwater rod that you're building.
Yeah.
So, and of course, some really cool footage, like you mentioned, of actually catching a gator too. So.
And of course, we're giving some stuff away.
Yeah, we got a lot of great giveaways. We're going to actually be giving away some of these EVA grips,
Yep.
You know, in the camo pattern. And then our second place giveaway is actually going to be the blank that you guys used to build this rod. And the grand prize, we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're actually going to be giving away a $150 gift card tonight.
Yes.
So
stick around, bear with us there. You know, you're going to kind of get a treat. You know, it's like we're coming out of summer, we're getting ready for fall. Got a great, that $150 gift card is awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, stick around. We're going to show you some really cool stuff. So, all right, boys, are we ready to get this thing kicked off? And we're doing cold-blooded builds tonight. All right, Jay, let's run it.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission.
All right, there it is, cold-blooded builds, and we're talking episode 78. All right, before we get going, let's give a shout out to everybody in that Mudhole Live Rod Builders Workshop. 16,000 plus of the coolest rod builders on the planet.
yeah, absolutely. A lot of great feedback, a lot of help, a lot of great questions. I think there's even a photo contest going on right now.
Of course there
So
is.
hop in there, get the details for that. But yeah, the biggest, the best. You guys know the spiel.
You know the deal. If you're not involved in it, get involved in it. Tonight on the show, as we've been running the last couple shows, I think it's been helpful for people. We're getting some good feedback on all of the products shown tonight on the show. We've got them cataloged on the website, and after the show, you can run over there to mudhole.com/MHL, stands for Mudhole Live, and shop. So you don't have to remember, oh, what's that thread, what's that, I forgot the part number. It's all right there. Now, for those that watch the show, we try to do this because we love you guys and you bear with us for a couple hours on every third Tuesday. We're doing a Labor Day sale.
Yep.
And, maybe you thought we were, maybe you thought we weren't, but we haven't told the world yet, and it's a sneak peek for just y'all. Hunter, why don't you run them through exactly what that's going to be? I know you're in tune with that.
Yeah, so technically it starts tomorrow, but for you guys at home watching right now,
it might just be live.
You can actually go take advantage of this right now. So it is going to be 15% off orders of $150 or more. And you're going to use the code LDS2021. LDS2021. That code will get you 15% off orders over $150 or more. Okay. Some exclusions apply, of course, but for the majority of the products on the site, that will apply. And that's going to end Tuesday, September 7th.
Nice.
So you almost have a full week, or for you guys at home watching right now, you do have an entire full week to take advantage of that sale.
Because you will see, probably in your inbox tomorrow, that it will start Wednesday, the 1st. But as he said, it's live now. So stick with us, watch the show, because you guys already know it's going to be live.
Yep.
So watch the show, shop after, and again, we've got that mudhole.com MHL. It's going to show everything on the show. Yep. So, all right, the first demo, we're going to kind of walk you guys through what it's like to catch an alligator. So, I'm a fourth-generation native Floridian. You're a Tennessean.
Yeah.
By birth, which is fantastic.
Right.
I've been up there to that. It's wonderful. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's gator hunting in different parts of the country.
Of course.
So Florida has their own rules. We went with a guide, a true outfitter, RT and the boys at God's Country Outfitters. I know you're going to hear this a lot tonight about those guys, but they are incredible. They're the best. They're over near San Mateo. Well, they're in San Mateo, Florida. They're near Palatka. So if you look on a map, you can find Palatka probably better than you can San Mateo. Yeah. It's going to be on the St. Johns River, south of Jacksonville. Not too far. It's pretty easy to get to. But I see why it's called God's Country Outfitters, because once you get to their place, you turn off the road, and it's just pine trees and palm fronds, and the lodge is incredible. Well, you're going to see it here in a little bit. But we're going to give everybody a live look at the Mudhole TV episode, Catching Alligators, on a rod that we built. You'll get to see it. The guys did a great job with it. And then we'll come back from that clip. We'll talk about a little bit what we did, some of the stuff you can kind of expect, if you do come to the state of Florida, whether you fish on private water, which is what we did. We fished private water, which is why we were able to fish during the day. Had an outfitter. He, of course, has all the proper tags. We had to buy certain licenses to participate in the hunt. Florida and FWC has done a great job with alligator management over the years, and they're pretty tight on it. You can get in a lot of trouble if you get caught. So there is, absolutely no reason not to follow the law. The guides over there did it. They told us everything we needed to have, and it was great. It was wonderful. So I think Jay's got that queued up, and we're going to go on an alligator hunt with Big Show Terry Scroggins and God's Country Outfitters. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So stick around. We'll be back just in a few here, and let's roll that.
We can pull it up here. Yeah, we'll need to get out of on water.
We here. All right, guys, we are out here today with the Mudhole crew, and we got none other than the Big Show here with us, and we got RT, and we're out on some private property, and we're doing a little gator hunting. Is that right?
That's exactly right. I have made over 250 bass rods.
Yep.
First time ever making a gator rod. Now, I've come out here with RT, God Country's Outfitters before, it's pretty much guaranteed you're gonna get a gator when you're with this guy right here.
Sure.
And Mr. Wade behind me right here. They know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
But we have built this rod just to see how tough a CRB blank can be.
Absolutely. So this is the Gator glass.
Yes.
And it is the T70H. And it is pretty much, I mean, it's the hammer.
We got 500-pound braid on this jewel, a big old gigantic spinner reel, a big hook. All we need to do is see a gator come off the blank, track down the bubbles, and put a hook in him and just see how tough this blank's gonna be.
Absolutely. I mean, I know we hadn't even made it around the first corner and our man Wade was like, we need to ease out there. You can see this bubble trail working. And we're gonna see if he comes up.
If he does, shame on him.
That's exactly right. Cool, well, let's get at it. Big Show, let's show us the way.
All right, let's get her done.
See that one on that point? Yeah.
He come off the left side, didn't
Yeah, he went like that. That's wild. You see one that big and he just
he? Man, it's just...
down. Is that bubbles in that cove next to that laydown? Oh yeah.
Hey, we saw two real quick right there. Let's keep on going and find some other.
Bang, bang.
Chris, you see them bubbles right there?
Absolutely.
Woo!
That's what we hunt right there.
So we'll hammer right there. Looks like he's coming at us.
Right.
It's like 8 foot deep. Right. Oh, he's right there.
No doubt.
Uh-huh.
Golly, he's throwing a wake. You see him throwing that wake?
Yeah, he was traveling. He's still going out there.
This is where we get him, right? Now, when y'all feel him, y'all stick him like, I mean, stick him.
Yeah, hang on.
Now, will he try and kick off as soon as he feels it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they hook him, he'll be at that boat over in about a second. Look here. 20 foot straight out from him.
You think that's him right there? That's pretty.
There he is. There he is. Get him, boy. All right.
There you go.
Hang on to him, Hammer. Test that rod out and see what we got.
Yeah,
huh?
right?
Get him, boy. See what that T70H will do.
We got a bus, boys. We got a bus.
Hang on, Hammer. I'm coming in there with you.
I got you, baby.
I think he's out there front.
He's pretty much straight up down right here.
All right.
Because I can feel him pretty vertical. Yeah. Attaboy. There you go. Attaboy.
Yes, sir. See what these rods are made out of, boys.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Back him up. Back him up.
Woo! Little hammer right here, boy. Mm-hmm. 500-pound braid with a drag lock down.
That's
Just
it.
you and him.
That's it.
Woo! Man,
Just
we're coming on up in here, boy. See what we got. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
hey, Terry, go over me, bud.
All right.
Go over me. So we're not wrapped.
Here we go.
There he is.
Yes, sir.
Get some meat, boys. Get some meat, son. I'm off.
Oh, you see how you doing me, boy?
You big show.
Rig up and put it back down there. Gosh, mighty boy. Woo! Y'all gonna re-rig? This a hammer right here. We got him fired up.
We got him fired up, I would say so.
Looks like the old T70H is
Making it work.
making it work and
That'll
making me
work.
work is what it's doing.
There you go. Might have to back him off. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna loosen that drag, are you, Big Show?
Yes,
Come on.
sir. That T70 stronger than I am, boy. I know it. There we go. Get him, boy. Yes, sir. See what it's made of, Hammer. Mm-hmm. We're coming on now, boy. Get him, boy. Yes, sir. He's all ours now. Woo! A little off on him. All right. Here we go.
You don't like that.
I ain't liking it. Yes, sir. Child, it's looking mad now. All right, Hammer.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Oh, he's chomping that damn boat. He's locked on it. You mad, ain't you, Hammer?
Under a lot.
No, he's wedged up on it. He done took your light out. You know, there he goes. I didn't know I was going to the gym today. No, sir.
That's it.
Set the hook, Hammer. There we go.
Feel like that was meat that time.
Uh-huh. Game over now. We got a rodeo man in the boat.
That's it.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
dog.
Yes, sir.
Watching, boys.
Hey. All right, Hammer.
I'm gonna do the pull the pin. You're live. And let me sink in.
He gonna go under the water. Hang on a minute. Hang on.
I'm gonna sink in now. Yep.
Get it. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. Now then.
My man. My man. There you go.
Hey, all I can say, God's Country Outfitters done did it again, boy.
Done it.
We've been out here for 2 hours. Bam!
Barely.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
Come on with it, boy. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. Now then. Time to go to the Waffle House, boy. Yes, sir.
All right, guys, there it is. 2 hours in, God's Country Outfitters, RT and Wade. Boy, they put it on it. And you know we had to mention the big show. Did you put it on, bud?
Dude, I think your line broke.
It did. You
Kinda
know,
saved the day for you a little bit.
they weren't ready for get up on them toes hook set is what it was. But really, the T70H out of the Gator series, I think we know now why they call them the Gator series.
Dude, I had 500-pound braid on my T70, drag lock down.
Doubled. Hey, Wade got me back in the game quick though.
He did. I'm glad he did too. He's wearing me out.
We were ready to rock. So we're gonna get back, put it on the trailer and take a few pictures with it. What a beautiful animal. I'm thinking, RT, you said 40, 50 years old?
I'm thinking we need to heat the grease up.
That's my man.
Here you go.
Absolutely, cool. All right, guys, we're gonna head back and we'll get a few more photos and some more video, and we're gonna talk a little more about how we built this T70H out of the CRB Gator Blank series. All right, what do you think?
Pretty cool. I mean, that's just amazing.
We weren't playing around, that's for sure. And you know, Terry, we didn't have to take him to the Waffle House because we went back to the lodge at God's Country Outfitters and actually had a little bit of a fry. So it was great. Now, I think that we proved that T70H can get it done. I mean, as soon as we hooked up, having a rod with that proper power and action,
For sure.
and have that durability to fight that gator.
It's impressive.
Not that fish,
Yeah.
that gator. Like you were saying earlier, though, that's something that we can transition into, you know, if you're going to catch like a Goliath grouper under the bridge in Florida, that's a big thing. Or if you're going to go gator hunting yourself, or, you know, if you want to go and catch the biggest catfish you've ever seen, or, you know, one of those big sturgeon or something like that, that you need a big spinning rod, big spinning reel. Of course, it could be built conventional as well.
Right.
But you can kind of see how we're kind of having to pitch that hook around a little bit.
Yeah. And that, you know, you mentioned the action, that's like key. You know, the power is one thing, but the action with that slow, that moderate, you know, like
Yeah.
that really parabolic bend
Right.
can absorb that really, you know, a lot of exertion under one hook set.
For
you
sure.
know, like that's, you certainly wouldn't want, like, you know, like a fast action
No.
to do that application. It just wouldn't make sense.
Well, of course not. I mean, you saw me out there. I got up on them toes.
yeah, you definitely did.
And that was 250-pound braid on that spinning reel. And you know, you kind of notice the gator came up and tail swiped it and broke off.
Yeah.
250 that quick.
That's crazy
You
to
know,
think,
so how they can do that. And of course, as we mentioned before, with RT and the boys, Wade in there with us too, God's Country Outfitters, being able to do this during the day on private property was absolutely incredible. For first-class operation, for sure. They know what they're doing. For anybody that wants to know more about this, to be able to get out there, build a gator rod, and go hunt one, myfwc.com. That is where everything fish and wildlife in Florida happens. So, of course, Georgia, Louisiana, all these places have their own wildlife page. It's myfwc here in the state of Florida. So they do a good job. I mean, they really do. They estimate about 1.3 million alligators really across the size range, every year. And FWC, which is Florida Wildlife, they established, a statewide recreational alligator hunting program back in the late 80s. It's 1988. So that's kind of the model for the program. They go through it. It's very interesting, though, because in the state of Florida, it's very unique, just with other seasons here, other hunting seasons. It's done a lot by counties and different waterways. Names like Okeechobee and Lake Kissimmee and things come to mind. I think there's over 60 harvest units in the state of Florida. So, depending on where you hunt, the seasons are going to be different. Typically, gator season starts August 15th, and it runs all the way through November 1st, but you do have to put in for a permit in a lottery system, and then you're assigned where you can hunt, and it's very involved. The process is, it's just not, anybody can just go out in their truck and do this. It's actually done, very well, and being able to buy the permits, the proper permits, and hunt, with RT and the guys, and you can go out and find and hire a guide that has an alligator permit. Most, if not all of those are done at night. It's like a 5 p.m. to a 10 a.m. kind of a thing. That's really because, when it's hunting them and, you don't want the guys out in the jet skis out riding around when you're doing this,
right.
On Kissimmee or Toho or something like that. But so most of that is 5 p.m. to 10 a.m. A lot of that's done at night. And it's very, very, regulated. You can't just see one across a lake and use a firearm. You're not allowed to do that. You have to get up close and personal. You can't use bait, So, and I think what that does too is, you saw how easily we could be broken off if we weren't properly connected to that alligator in multiple times. The last thing you want to do is to harm that animal and then have that animal swim off, honestly. So we try to do that as ethically as possible when you're taking an animal. So the guys really taught us a lot about doing it. So it was great. So really
it
cool.
looked like a great time. There was a quick question.
Yeah.
Bill asked, how long did it actually take to bring him in?
We trimmed that footage down a little bit. I mean, Terry's a big guy, and I'm not. But I tried to help a little bit. There were one or two times there outside of the fact when I broke off, and you could kind of see it got into a little bit of a stalemate. It was exciting at first because he was running drag really, really hard, and I don't know if you caught, Terry was calling out depths earlier. We just had a depth finder so we could kind of know where some drop-offs were because they do have a tendency to go under a log, get in some of that underwater obstructions, and we kind of have to be aware of that when we do get a hold of that alligator. And, there were once or twice, he ran across that one flat and you see it and then he kind of buried it up, so we kind of had to like move around, pull him out a little bit. So, to show the entire fight would have been a little monotonous, but to me it felt like it was only 30 seconds. But I know it was, every bit of 10, 15 minutes of, you've got Terry and I hooked up. The guys are working the boat. Sometimes they have to spin it around. I mean, if he's trying to go under the boat, and that's something that you were talking about with that power and action. And, if you try to go around the boat and you catch the rod blank on the boat, like having the durability of that blank and that action, you can't do that with an extra fash. You know, that the Gator goes under the boat and we got to spin it around and we break off.
Yeah.
Again, you know, that's just something that you don't want to do. So that's kind of you know, that's kind of it in a nutshell. But it was very exciting. We'll answer Adam here. Chris, if I save the money to go up to God's country for a gator hunt, would you go again? If I can save the money, I'm going again, for sure. So no doubt would I go do it again. Those guys are great. It's not far from where we are here at Mudhole. We just ran up there for the day and back. We had a big lunch after it. It was cool. And, you know, I've been very lucky to go to some cool hunts and some cool fishing lodges and things like that, and they're the deal. You know, the whole team, they were great. So,
Awesome.
yep.
Cool.
All right,
let's see.
so
What do you think?
we're going to give some stuff away, right? What we did was I kind of put together, you know, we're big into dry fitting here, right? So that is kind of the sample of what we built. We do have a rod recipe for this build up. And it's great because for those that are familiar with the rod recipes we do, we walk you through from tip to butt, you know, doorknob handle, EVA grip, CRB, reel seat here, EVA grip, things like that. We talk about the LZR guides that we used on this because everybody asks, hey, do those LZR guides stand up to saltwater? Do they stand up to this? Do they stand up to that? And now they stand up to alligators and 500-pound braid and 250-pound braid. So, yes, they do. And the guys will throw a link in there for that rod recipe to give you an idea of how to lay that rod out. So what we're going to do is we're going to give away some grips. And the guys will get us up a winner there. And it's actually going to go to, I'll take this one.
Go for it.
Terry Strong Jr. So Terry, if you're in Facebook, which I believe they usually notate if it's YouTube or Facebook. Terry, if you're in Facebook, shoot us a message so we can get you some EVA grips out. We're going to do some camo ones. We'll get that headed your way. And we'll also throw in a few others there. Definitely throw in, we'll do the woodland camo, we'll do one of the other camos, and we'll pick some other colors. We'll kind of put you a grab bag in there so, you know, you got stuff to work with. They come in 18-inch sections. That allows you to do all kinds of different rod builds and kind of mix it up. So it's really, really cool.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
that's it.
All right, so we got the first giveaway out of the way. Let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about that blank.
Absolutely.
right?
I got
So
it
you
over
right
here.
over here.
Walk us through that blank.
So, as the name hints, the CRB Gator series of blanks, not necessarily named to be a gator hunting rod, but you know, the name fits, I guess.
It did. You know, I went to the rack and I'm like, I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, right?
Let's see if it's got the right power and action for the job.
Yeah. So in this series, for one, the price is right on these. I mean, you know, retail price, we're looking in the 30, 40, 50s range.
Okay.
So extremely affordable, extremely durable, as you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
So, you know, these could be a great rod for pretty much any type of saltwater fishing you're doing, you know. Extremely durable. Now, obviously, the butt diameters, the tip diameters are a little bit larger than usual. So
Okay.
a little bit later in the show, we're going to show you guys how to kind of make a few of these grips. You know, these CM18 grips, they only go up to 5/8.
Okay.
So with a butt diameter of 0.950-ish, you know, inches, it takes a little bit more work to get these grips to slide all the way down.
Sure.
But with that said, you know, the wall thickness is very, you know, it's really thick. So again, durability is the number one with these blanks.
No doubt. And I think that's why, you know, people know that going in. You know, they know they're going to go to that series. And like you said, we're going to have the durability with the actions and power lined up for that type thing. You're not going to come to this rod series looking for a jerkbait rod to catch smallmouth,
Right.
per se.
Yeah. You know, we talk about all the time, you know, our Elite X series, our, you know, Elite Pro, sensitivity. Well, this is a little bit of the other spectrum.
Right.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing because there are certain applications where this type of rod blank shines.
Absolutely.
again, durability, you can really beat them. You can really, put them to the test and they're going to stand up.
If you're going to go on a, if you're going to offshore fish or you're going to do, commercial type applications, for those, professional guys that get paid to fish in those applications, they want something that's going to stand up to punishment, something they're not going to have to worry about breaking. And if you hook, a giant tuna, if you're dealing with any kind of big game type stuff, I mean, they're going to bet, those guys are betting their paychecks at that point, honestly. So that right there is going to say it all for that series. So, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about, I mentioned the EVA grips, so let's talk about them. So when we're dealing with these, now these grips right here are the CM18s, we mentioned that earlier. We have them in 3 different inside diameters, so 3/8, a half, and 5/8.
Okay.
Now again, that blank diameter is almost an inch at the very bottom of the butt.
Yeah.
So 2 different options for, obviously we're going to start with, this is actually the smaller one, because you wanted to use the 3/8, correct?
Right.
Which is going to work with our reverse pilot bit.
Exactly,
right?
because so the reverse pilot bit is a great tool. If you guys don't have that and you do a lot of EVA and even cork, they last forever. You're not going to tear these up.
Yeah.
And the great thing is you have a long surface to work with. So you're going to, instead of drilling forward to drill a hole, like, if you're drilling into a 2x4 or something to cut a hole, it's actually cut to pull through a grip, so you're going to cut backwards coming to you. And for the smaller sizes that we have, because we have 4 or 5 sizes maybe?
I think so.
So for the smaller sizes, the shaft on that bit is going to be in a 1/4 inch diameter, because you're dealing with, smaller grips overall. You're not cutting as large of a hole through that grip. So the pilot size is smaller.
Yep.
And it's great for cork, because most of that cork comes in 1/4 inch diameters. And of course, the EVA, if you're going to do a lighter rod and you don't need to cut as big of a hole, you can buy the CM18 in a 1/4 inch diameter and do the same.
Yep.
But with this one, cutting a 3/4, I would also do the 3/8 inner diameter. So the 3/8 inner diameter allows the bit to stay centered. Because you might think, well, I'm going to cut a 3/4 inch hole, or I need to take it to 7/8, so I'm going to buy the bigger inner diameter for the EVA. That's not necessarily the way if you want to cut a larger hole with that. Buy the 3/8 inner diameter and then use the reverse pilot bit, because the shaft is a 3/8. It keeps it centered.
Right.
Then you can cut, makes a nice clean cut if you need to touch it up with your extreme reamer. So take it away.
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
see it.
So one thing that you do have to watch out for is obviously the length of this reverse pilot bit. You cannot use, or you cannot have a grip that is going to be longer than this bit, because what you need to do is take this bit, you actually need to put it through your grip first, then we're going to go and attach it to our drill.
Yeah, that is a great tip, because it's like, oh, I forgot.
So, obviously, again, we cannot have a grip that is out to here or here or here, because this pilot bit has to slide through the grip first in order to attach to the drill. And then from there, really all you gotta do,
You gotta pick it up because you can't see with the...
yeah, I just didn't want to get it everywhere.
Oh, make a mess, baby.
Yeah, we'll go up here. All right, let's do that. All right, we're almost at the end. And there you go.
Cool.
A little messy, but so we just took that grip from 3/8 to 3/4 in a matter of just a few seconds.
I tell you, I love the extreme reamer, but that's got me sold when I'm trying to get to a 3/4 inch
Yep.
from a 3/8.
So that's one option. We always love to give you guys more than one option, right?
Sure.
So the other option is you can take the 5/8 inside diameter,
Okay.
and we can go. So let's switch out our bit to our. This is going to be what, an XL?
Think so. And of course, somebody might say, well, why would you maybe do one over the other? I would choose if you've got a rod blank that doesn't have a crazy taper, okay? If the taper is just, because some rod blanks, they have a very slow taper.
Yeah.
They don't have a taper that's more triangular, and sharp.
Right.
So if you have a longer, slower taper, or if you know in the butt section that you're putting, maybe you're using the grip down here, okay? Maybe you're using the grip down here. If you're using this section, you might want to consider using the bit, because the bit is going to cut one solid hole through here.
Right.
Okay. Now, and we all know we've used reamers of all kinds and shapes and sizes. If you're trying to ream a little bit longer, whether it's EVA or cork or something like that, you might ream a bit of an hourglass in this, because the back part of that reamer, being tapered, can only get so far into here, right? So if you're doing a foregrip and you want it out here where the rod tapers a little bit, maybe buy the grip that is closer to the taper here, and then you'll only have to ream from one side to create a bit of a taper inside the grip.
Right.
And then that way you don't accidentally cut too big of a hole and you're fighting it down here, but now you have too much wiggle room out here because you cut a hole in it instead of maybe reaming it and creating a little bit of a taper to follow it.
Yeah.
So just something to think about if you're going to be cutting or reaming, and if you're going to be mounting a grip way down in the butt section that might give you a little constant, maybe it's that, like you said, what was it, like 0.9 or something? Yeah. Maybe that 0.9 starts up here a little bit or gets really close, so there's not much taper, but then up here in the power and action department, it might start to change a little, get into that taper, and you might have to, just something to think about.
Yeah, good point, definitely. So this is going to be the grip that we're actually going to, which I see you got some epoxy mixing up over there.
Yes.
We're actually going to put this grip on our rod blank.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to come in with my extreme reamer.
So you say.
So we say, as we hope at least.
That's it.
And as you guys can see, it pretty much stops about halfway down this reamer, right? So what I'm going to do is, and since, actually almost will go all the way. So let's give this a shot. Let's go this way as well. Try to keep it as straight as we can. It's a lovely noise.
Yeah, right? That's not terrible at all.
So now...
And right in your microphone, too, probably.
Yeah. So I'm going to flip this over and actually go the opposite way now. So now I'm almost positive this grip is still not going to slide down all the way.
All right, well, let's check it. Because
We'll
we're
give it a
talking
shot.
0.9, right?
Oh,
All right. So we got a little bit to go. Just a little bit.
a little bit. A lot of bit.
All right, so I don't
Since
know.
that's
We're going to have to take bets. All right, you think it's going to go? Are you going to?
I might be biased,
you
but
trust
I
me a
think
little?
I think it's going to go.
Think it's going to go? Think it's going to go. All right, so if you get into this position and the grip is not mounted where you want it, So, and yes, we purposely used the reamer just to ream it out a little bit. Didn't use the cutter, but we want to try to show you how to get this to slide a little bit better, okay? I have mineral spirits, and we've got your pro paste, okay? The mixing dish, of course. I'm already mixed a little up while Hunter was working. So what we're going to do, and this is not exact science, all right? As you, I think 77 episodes ago, you might have realized that this is not exact science. But what I like to do in a situation where I'm faced with a little bit of length to travel here, a little bit, you know, got a 0.9 going on. So I'm actually going to mark, if I had a white China marker. Oh, I got a red one. All right. So I'm going to mark where this grip stops on the high side, okay? And the reason for that is I want to make sure that the glue is far enough up here that we get it coated in the inside of this grip. Because if you only put it down here, we're using the Pro Paste as a cheat, all right? So we're going to use the Pro Paste as a cheat to get the grip moving, all right? Now, for some of those that build the bass rods and, you know, maybe they have a short grip and maybe they only have to go a little bit. For those rod builders, you can just put some Pro Paste above, you know, where you're going here, right? Go a little bit above, and just using the Pro Paste will get the job done.
Yeah.
I don't believe that just using the Pro Paste in this application is going to get it done. So I'm hoping that this trick will, you know, we're live. So just bear that in mind. All right, so we're going to take this off. And the Pro Paste isn't expensive, so let's be liberal with it, right? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on TV. All right, so we've got, I'm going to start at the China mark. Now, when I say that, you know, you can use plenty, I just mean you don't have to goop it on and let it drip and, you know, fall on grandma's dining room table. I just mean that you want to cover almost every inch of this and put a thin layer. Because again, we're using the Pro Paste as a cheat to get it to start sliding, and then we're going to double down with the mineral spirits. Because what's going to happen, you can kind of see here in the light. Up here is our China mark, right? All down through here. And I am going to continue it down really almost until the butt, till I can't really hold the blank anymore. Once we get down here, you'll be okay because you'll actually be pushing the glue down as you move, and the glue will completely coat the inside of that EVA. The mineral spirits will evaporate out, and the EVA will also compress back to the blank. So you're getting kind of, you know, two bonding, you know, styles. You're getting the EVA clamping back down, and you're also getting the glue bond there.
Right.
When it's been done this way, I have never seen anybody go, yeah, my EVA just, you know, it came loose. It's not going to come loose when you do this. So we'll work this down here still. Just kind of scraping it down, getting it going. You nervous, Hunter? You think I'm gonna?
Nah.
You think I'm gonna pull it off?
I think you got it.
All right.
We did have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Scott asked, will that work on a wind grip, referring to the pilot bit? And yes, it will. Now, you don't necessarily need the reverse pilot bit, for instance, on, let's say, like a wind split grip. You know, these reverse pilot bits really shine with like full length, you know, 8, 10-inch grips. Right. Now, we also have the Flex Coat, just the standard pilot bits, which are, they're only about 4 or 5 inches long.
Right.
And they actually do have the pilot on the front.
On the nose.
On the nose
Okay.
of the bit. So if you are doing mainly split grips, I would probably recommend using just the standard pilot bits from Flex Coat. If you're doing longer full-length grips, use the reverse pilot bits.
Perfect. All right, we ready to try this thing?
Are you ready to try it?
Can you spot me
I
here?
got you, yeah.
All right, so,
I guess, you know, come down.
yeah, I
then we'll go
actually, I actually recommend using latex gloves for this, and it was my fault that I didn't grab a pair. So I just am going to try to keep this mineral spirits off of me as much as possible. So, all right, what I'm going to do is take the grip, make sure you double check which way this is going to go, because once you get this going and you get it stopped, you're not going to get it unstopped. So I'm going to plug one end, right? So again, I would probably wear gloves with this. I'm just trying to keep mineral spirits from, you know, going up to my elbow. So, all right. So plug this end. Then I'm actually going to pour mineral spirits and have another paper towel ready, or if you got a glove on this hand, you'll be okay. So I'm going to pour mineral spirits into here. And I kind of pour it and turn it and pour it and turn it so that we're coating the inside of this, right? Trying to get the best coverage on the inside here as we can. All right. Dump it out, because there is a little excess in there. All right. Let's make magic.
You got it?
I have to get on my toes
There you
here,
go.
too.
You got it.
All right. All right, are we ready? Let's see if we can do this. All right. So we're going to kind of work it down the blank. You can tell it already wants to go a little farther. I'm really not putting a lot of muscle into this one. It's going to start, though, because now it's kind of locked.
And there he goes.
That's it. I'm going to put this on back here so I don't get the... I can't get like force over it.
Gee.
Well, I'm just trying to get my body weight over it and push it down so they can see it.
There you go.
So there you go. All right. So really, I just wanted to take it, you know, all the way down. If you were putting a doorknob butt on there, you wouldn't have to go that far. But I was just showing you based on, we were on a 5/8 hole. You reamed it a little bit.
A little bit.
Which, I don't know the diameter of that reamer, but it's not 3/4, I can promise you that.
Not 3/4, no.
So we were started a little over a 1/2 inch at 5/8, and we got it down to, you know, what you call it? 0.9?
0.9, maybe a little more.
Yeah. Why don't you grab it up here and hang on to it, see if I can get it off. See if I can get it all the way.
Touch that glue.
Did you? All right. It wants to come. Come on. I don't want to put my hand on it. Yeah, we could probably get it. So we pulled it about another 3 or so inches into that grip. So yeah, you can take a 5/8 with a little bit of ream. Oop, now it's sliding. A little bit of reaming, you can pull it over 0.9.
Yeah.
So
And really until that mineral spirits kind of evaporates out of there, which is
we could work it a little bit. I
Yeah.
bet if we did it like all in one fell swoop, we could have just
all the way off.
right off.
Yep.
I think your dad actually bet one of the sales guys that one time, and I think he won his lunch money. All right.
Well, that goes to show you that you can definitely achieve it. It's not that hard. You got to have a little room to work with. Maybe a second person is very helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, it really cleans up almost that entire amount of glue that you put on there.
Yeah.
It squeegees it all the way down. So
Absolutely.
clean
And there
up.
were no camera tricks. Y'all know we do this live because you see us mess up plenty of times. So, yeah. What do we have next? You're going to do a couple questions and we're going to do a giveaway, right?
Let's do it. Let's see. Matt, could it be used for giant swim baits and glide baits and A-rig? Yeah, you could definitely do that. Probably wouldn't be my first choice.
I mean, I wouldn't use the T70H, but maybe he's asking out of the, like that series.
Oh, I mean,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the H could be used depending on what.
Well, I guess you're right. Well, some of them glide baits are what, like 8 ounces?
Yeah.
You might have to.
like I said, there's certainly other options I would probably pick before that, but could it work? Yes, it absolutely could work.
You could throw it to the moon. Yeah. You might throw the whole spool out, so be sure you got plenty of line on that $300 glide bait.
What else we got? David, what was the guide set that we used? That would be an LZR medium duty guide set?
We used an LZR MD. I want to say we started with, well, what is it started at 40?
30 or 40, yeah.
Yeah, we started, and you know, I unfortunately didn't have a ton of information, and I didn't have the reel here, so I kind of had to play with it a little, and I think I did okay.
Yeah.
You know, for those that have watched like setting up guide placement shows before, which I know we'll probably do another one before the end of the year, but setting that up, you know, we used all MD series all the way out. So I would probably recommend on the tip top, I used a ceramic tip top. I probably, if I was God's Country Outfitters and I was doing this on a regular basis, I would, with clients and fighting and doing all that stuff, I would probably go to a non-ceramic, like a boat top, just because you saw the boat. It's a big aluminum. If you start banging the tip top around and things like that, you're gonna end up without a ceramic anyway. The LZRs, all the guides were great. That's not gonna be a problem, but I worry that when you go from the braid and they've got a big swivel and things like that, just to protect that tip top, I would probably go to a boat top in case that swivel comes in there or that big hook comes in there and bangs it, and then you're going to lose your tip top ring, and then it's like, well, okay. So I might err on the side. If you're doing something really extreme like this, I would still do the LZRs, no doubt, but I would go probably to a boat top if I was going to do it again.
Cool. Let's see, Michael Moore, what did it weigh? What did the Gator weigh? Remember?
Do we know? I don't know if we knew.
It was the length?
Wasn't it like 9? Wasn't it like 9 feet 10 inches or something, or 9'9" or something like that? I can't remember what it weighed. He gave us an estimate, but yeah, it was like, 9'8" or something like that.
500 pounds?
Yeah, he said something maybe like 500.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I am nowhere near an expert, but we did, the Gator did tape it like 9'8". So it was an animal.
Yeah.
No doubt. And they've got pictures of them up there like 13 feet, I think, 12 feet. I mean, like
crazy.
big ones.
Yeah, dinosaur.
Hey, the T-70H will do it though, I promise you.
All right, let's do one more question and then let's do a giveaway. Keith, will that rod fit in a dryer? Yes, it definitely will. What I would recommend, Keith, is make sure you upgrade to the wire chuck for your rod dryer. If you have an RDS, that is. Upgrade to the wire chuck. The wire chuck will fit almost any diameter blank you can think of.
Absolutely.
From a T70H all the way down to a fly rod or an ultralight or anything.
Now, I always would recommend, I'm with you, I'm using the wire chuck for everything. If you don't have a wire chuck, just put it in your dryer, since it has such a large OD. Put it in your dryer without the butt mounted final. So tape it, mark everything, make sure that, after you mount this, that you're not then going to put this back on and go, uh-oh, I can't, that's not going to work. Yep. So you can always, and I know a lot of the offshore builders, if they have, big metal gimbals and things like that, they build it with the butt off.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind if you don't have one and you want to go ahead and get started on something like this, or you want to venture into that saltwater game, definitely get you a wire chuck, or just try with the butt off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Second giveaway of the night, we're actually going to be giving away that rod blank. So the T70H.
Let's do it.
We talked about all the good things. The winner there is Edward Zahn.
I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with that. Congratulations, Edward. I'm going to assume you are also in Facebook. So shoot us a message.
Yeah.
Oh, he also had a question. I wonder what weight fly rod that would be.
You know, the problem is, the fly rods are just not weighted to pull like that. You know, of course they're weighted on grains of line, so it's like that would be crazy. I mean, whether he is serious or not.
16 weight, maybe like
Yeah, I mean, they're catching marlin on 14, 16 weight. I would be curious. Well, see, Edward, I'm a fly guy, okay? I'm a fly fisherman. So now you got me thinking. So I understand maybe it might have been a joke, but then now it's kind of one of those deals where I'm going,
that's the next step.
I wonder what it would be. We'd have to weigh it in grains, to figure it out, but it'd be something. Whew.
That might be a first. First gator caught on a fly rod.
No doubt. Cody asked, yeah, right? Cody, you gonna throw a treble hook on that one?
I don't know.
I like it.
A lot of things to figure out there.
Yeah. What is a good blank for throwing 2-ounce flare hawks? So, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You can take this one.
You want it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we hadn't got to do the flare hawk thing for the snooks, the snook and all that stuff. So I understand there. But when I start talking, you'll be, oh yeah, that's what I want. All right, so I'm going to give you 2. And the reason I'm going to give you 2 is because I get looked at sometimes when I go pull out one of those flipping and pitching series blanks, because I love an FP 936 or an FP 937 for this. And of course, I saw your face light up, Mr. Punch and Mats and Bass Fisherman.
Yeah. I got a couple of those.
Right. So you can go that route. That is a great route to go. We've even caught sailfish on one, let's be honest. So that rod is not only rated for that, but it would also be good for that because it's 7.9. It's not as long as most that you might want, Cody, off of the jetty or the pier, something like that. My next choice would be something like we used up in Boston Harbor, in the harbor. So we've got some 8-footers in that MHX, the saltwater lineup. So I would have to check, but we were throwing some enormous topwater plugs on the SW80 ML, and we were even throwing some on the SW80L. Both of those would probably get it done. I know without a shadow of a doubt that they are tough enough to do it.
Yeah.
And it just kind of depends on, how sensitive they are, if you want the 8-footer, but I'm giving you my 2. So it's either an FP 936 or 937, or it's going to come out of the SW series. Yeah. If you're throwing one that's maybe a little bit lighter than the 2-ounce and you want to go in the CRB color series, like a 7.6 heavy, something like that, that'll handle small tarpon, handle snook. The 7.6 might not be enough length for you, Cody, but, that'll get you close.
Yeah.
So, cool.
All right, well, we talked about the blank, we talked about the handle.
Yes.
And the grips.
Yes.
So now we got to talk about, we talked a little bit about the guides.
Right.
But now we got to talk about thread wraps.
Of course.
Because obviously with this being a very a heavy, so to speak.
A little bit.
We need to have underwraps on these guides.
We do.
It's going to add a little
And they got
bit.
to match.
And they got to match too. So you're going to show us a little color combination for one.
Yeah.
To match with our woodland camo, right?
That's it.
And then, on top of that, the underwraps for this application just makes sense.
For sure.
Because we are putting a lot of pressure, especially in the mid to tip section.
Yeah.
And so these guides obviously need a little protection. The blank needs a little protection.
No doubt.
And that's the reason why we use an underwrap.
That's it. All right, so we have, and for those at home, some agree with me, some don't. I am a size A underwrapper. I like it. The reason I do that is, you can get away with different sizes here and there. You just always kind of have to remember, well, if I'm not putting finish on that, I don't want to put a smaller diameter thread on top of a larger diameter thread, because then what will happen is it'll cut in between it. But for me, I almost always, I'll say always, I'm putting an under wrap and then I'm putting finish on it. The reason that I can do that, or the reason I do that, is because I think I'm fairly quick with finish. So I do the under wrap and then I come back and I put a really nice thin coat, boop, 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 go all the way down it. Then I move on to something else that I'm doing. When I come back, especially when you're using the power wrapper, then you come back and you wrap on top of the guide foot. You can, I think, that you can go quicker. You don't have to worry about the thread cutting into the thread underneath it. And then I think, for me, with the way that I finish and on some of the stuff, I think it makes a cleaner finish job for me when I already have a little bit of finish underneath the guide, and then I can manipulate it around, and then I'm not catching, you know, I don't catch myself using too much and things like that.
Right.
So,
Makes sense.
yeah. All right, so what I did on this rod, and I swear I had a larger double foot guide here.
I'm not seeing
How
one.
did we get, well, that's on me. Can you see if there's a big double footer back there, please? It just got legs and walked off. I just want to show this on how to start it and stop it. We've shown it before, but, you know, yeah, just a larger double foot. Oh, and he just so happened to get an LZR in the Gunsmoke. All right, so what I do when I start, before I start this under wrap, and of course this rod blank. All right, so here we are on the rod blank. You might have a mark somewhere on here to mark where the guide is going to go. I am going to put a mark out here off the end of the guide. Okay. I'm going to put a mark, and don't move the guide foot, or don't move the guide. I'm going to put a mark back here. Yeah, that's left-handed. Okay. Put a mark back here. Doesn't have to be a big giant mark, but it's back here in the back. So I got a mark back here in the back, got a mark out here, and I'm going to decide, you know, beforehand, if I want any kind of trim bands on the inside of this guide foot. And when I do that, I put a mark. If you want to put it halfway in between the span here, mark the midpoint. If you want, on some other guides, if they're not, you know, slung this way or slung that way, some of the older guides where the ring is perfectly ramped in between the 2 feet, you know, you might want it right under the ring. That's going to be a personal preference. Just decide what you want to do. I'm going to try to just, you know, freehand it right here in the middle. Okay? So we have, and I'm going to darken this so you guys can see it. I don't usually do this because it's just, you don't need to, but for those at home, to see if we can see that. All right, Uncle Phil, do your magic. There you go. There he is. All right. So we've got behind the foot, we've got in the middle, and then we've got out here in front of the foot. So then I'm going to start wrapping. Now, I am going to cheat a little bit. And the reason I'm going to cheat is if you do not have enough thread to reach out in front of your guide foot. So your guide foot is here, and if just so happens your thread stops like halfway out your guide foot, you're setting yourself up for a little bit harder time because the thread now has to jump off of a rod blank, clear the distance that the guide foot is off the blank, and then jump up onto that foot. So what I like to try to do is make sure that the thread gets out off of the guide foot, out in front a little bit, and then when you put a nice thin coat of finish, your thread's going to come off of your blank. It's going to rise up right nicely on top of your under wrap. Maybe it'll make a few wraps. Then it'll rise right up on that guide foot. So that's what we're going to do. So that is how you set up and prep for your guide, for your under wraps. And like I said, I like to cheat a little bit. And I like to start it out in front of my mark. So you can see I'll do a couple wraps out in front of the mark so that I know that I'm not going to get caught when it's too short. I even brought a razor blade. Can't even believe that one. Now we're approaching the middle line, right? So some of you will ask, well, should I feed this thread underneath this standing line and then continue the wrap? For me, here's why I would do that and here's why I wouldn't. If I only want to go around this blank maybe once or twice with a trim band, I am going to cut a piece, feed it under so that it locks it down, wrap a little bit over it, and then I'm going to go around, a couple times and tie it off. But if the trim band in the middle is, we'll call it 6 to 8 wraps, I'm going to, most of the time, I'm going to terminate this first wrap. Because if you have, and I don't have this 4-spool thread carrier here because sometimes it obstructs y'all's vision a little bit. So I'm just trying to walk you through this without it. But the great thing about that is if you're using 3 colors, 4 colors, 2 colors, you got multiple colors, you can start and stop wraps so quickly that it makes sense to do that. And if you're using a 6 or an 8 wrap trim band, that gives you 3 wraps to lock it to start, puts you a tie-off loop, 3 wraps to terminate it, cut it, drop it in the loop, and pull it, and now we're moving on.
Yep.
You don't have to start and stop it underneath and worry about the power wrapper grabbing that thread and getting it all kind of crazy. So if you're only going to do 2 or 3 wraps, maybe just cut you an 18-inch piece, throw it under there, do a couple wraps, and then you kind of have to back that thread off, go around once or twice, and you're good. So, but if not, we're just going to do this. So that is why I terminate the wrap or not terminate the wrap. So, a little pressure there. And of course, I am rushing this a little bit. I think Taylor said that like the Bachelorette is on tonight or something, so we got to make sure. And then of course, you will just come in here and start and stop, and we have our mark. I go around this rod blank twice because it's a gloss finish. Going around twice usually helps me lock it down a little better. I'm waiting for that teleprompter message to come across with our live delay here that we've got. So you can go around 3, 4, 5 times, something like that. A few more and lock it down. Again, if I was doing 2, if I was just doing 2 or 3, I would have cut it. Also, a good point. I meant to leave that a little longer so you guys could actually see. So I left that long so you could kind of see the little burr there. If you notice, that burr is in line with the top of my mark. So my guide foot's going to sit there, right? This is what I would not do if you have a trim band inside here, okay? I would make sure, and it's one of those deals that you're like, when you're on the outside, out here, it's going to cover it with the guide foot. It's going to sit just like this. If you're not great with cutting your trim bands and your thread, and this is a conventional rod with the guides up, try to cut your tags on the underside because people are going to look at it, you're going to look at it. If it's a spinning rod and your guides are down all the time, put your tags on the other side. So just think, sometimes I wish I was better at this stuff, I'm not a Billy Vivona, I'm going to tell you that right now, with some of this really clean wraps. So I think about that stuff sometimes. It's like when we do an abalone show and I'm like, hey, hide your seam a little bit better, hide your thread boo-boos a little bit better, because I make them, and I'm the B-list, C-list rod building celebrity here on Mudhole Live. So that's how I start and stop and move along, what I think about doing the underwraps, excuse me, for big double footers like that. I know we've done wrapping shows and stuff, but I wanted to touch base on that because an underwrap on a rod like this is, to me, extremely important. Not only to make it look cool, as you guys will see in that rod recipe, but it also serves a purpose. So,
Cool.
yeah.
And so the colors there, just in case anybody wants to know, is what we have 537, which is going to be fern.
Fern, yes.
We have 701, which is rattan?
Rattan.
Rattan. I knew I was going to say that.
I'll need a
wrong.
little culture up there.
Rattan.
Rattan.
Whatever that is. And then 749, which is just going to be brown.
Yeah, there you go.
Not much fun with that one.
Right. It sounds like an interior designer named These, and then they went, hey, Chris, what do you want to call that? Brown?
Brown.
Yeah.
Maroon.
Yeah, you should maybe put a little accent mark or something over it like that.
Right.
That'll get it done.
Yeah.
Cool. So there we have it. That is cold-blooded builds. That's the Alligator Rod Show. I think, Mike, it would be a good musky blank, to be honest with you. Mike's got a question there.
Yeah, definitely. Be a great musky blank.
I really do. You guys are dealing with a lot when you're got the musky thing going on, and you need the durability because you're throwing those big wild lures. You're trying to get a musky to react, and I've seen it. They eat it right there at the boat.
Yeah.
Doing a little figure eight thing. Stuff goes wild. They eat it. They might try to pull you under the boat, get around a motor. I mean, you saw in the gator hunt there, our man just about got snatched out of his boots. So yeah, that's something that there's a couple rods in that gator series, I'm sure, that you could find.
Definitely.
Which would be a great musky blank.
Even in the 8-footers, I think there might be a couple 8-foot options. I
think
know
you're
a
right.
lot of the musky guys like those 7-6, even up to 9-foot.
Right.
Rods.
I have heard that.
Yeah,
yes,
so,
absolutely.
Let's see, Brian, how many layers of top wrap thread would you put on a heavy class rod? Just basically one under wrap layer, and then once you put that guide on top, and then we're going to do another guide wrap to secure those each side of the foot.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's ready.
I know some of the guys, depending on the colors and stuff, and I don't do it because, when you say a heavy class rod, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
If you were like, oh no, it's a 130 or something, those guys will sometimes. They'll wrap up
Yeah. That's
and
a good
then
point.
wrap back. They'll wrap up
Rattan.
and then ratten back. They will wrap back. So, or they'll just do two going that direction, things like that. But, I think you're going to have to make that call on, is this, is it heavy like a 50 or is it heavy like a 130? So,
Good point.
Yeah.
Eddie, how do you decide what is a heavy enough application to need an underwrap? Also, what are your thoughts about the fake underwraps that come back on the guide foot just far enough so it looks like a true underwrap? So Eddie, that's kind of what Chris just hinted at, I would say, any type of offshore rod, if you're going for tuna or anything that you're going to be bottom fishing with out in the, offshore,
Right.
I'd go with underwraps.
Sure.
Even some of the maybe like heavy freshwater rods, not as common. You really don't see many underwraps on the heavy freshwater rods. No. But anything saltwater, again, your offshore bottom rods, trolling rods, anything that's going to involve a large double foot guide, turbo guides.
And maybe like all double foots out.
Yeah.
That kind of is a line to kind of kick it back in, can y'all put that question back up there? Because I don't remember the last part. It said something about a fake underwrap or something. But so that would clue me in. You know, if I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm probably going to need to do a underwrap if I'm running double footers all the way out.
Yeah.
You know, that might just be that point. Because we do, you know, I mean, we catch some really, you know, decent sized fish when we have single footers running out, and it's fine.
Yeah.
So, but kind of get that, I need to go to double footers, maybe that will help too. So, with these blanks, yeah, I'm not sure where that question just, because there was a question I was just reading that got deleted. Something about a king cod, I don't remember the guy's name, maybe Greg. Sorry, Greg, I didn't get through your question there. Looks like something, I think I remember it saying like a 6-ounce commercial king cod question,
Party
maybe?
boat.
Party boat. Yeah, so I mean, just those maybe 3 points right there without reading the whole question.
Perfect.
You said commercial or party boat. You said 6 ounces, and you said like king cod. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm picking something out of that series of rod blanks 100%.
Yeah.
Back to Eddie's, the back half of that question. Also, what are your thoughts about the fake underwraps that come back on the guide foot just as far enough so that it looks like a true underwrap? So I'm thinking that maybe you're only showing a wrap in between the two overwraps, maybe? Ones that don't extend all the way into the foot. I think that's what we're getting. Yeah. So the jury has deliberated, and we think that's what it's going to be. So the mullet has spoken. So it is, for me, if I'm going to do an underwrap, I'm probably going to just do the underwrap. I mean, if I'm working on my RBS Pro, I can probably do a 2-inch wrap about as quick as I could get started and do a 1/2-inch wrap. And plus, you have a little more room for error on a longer wrap, because if you're trying to wrap just inside of that spacing and not get it to where the guide foot sits on it, because the second the guide foot sits on it, if that thread doesn't go all the way out, now, like I said, you have to jump to the guide foot. All right? So if it's me, you know, I'm probably, or like when we do the abalone underwrap, I'm just going to cut the abalone the width of the guide foot. So I'm not having to worry about like, oh, I just put the abalone on there and it's the wrong length. So same with the thread, because you'll probably end up having to cut it off. We make that mistake, you know, all the time. So run that underwrap a little bit farther, and then you probably will be okay. But Eddie, honestly, you know, if you can make it work every time, you know, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine with it, you know. So.
All right. I think that's it for questions.
I think that's it. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Ryan asked, sorry, I missed that one. Ryan, what would you recommend for a crappie rod? Not this one, but anything out of the spinning series. And since you watch us here, you're actually going to see a Terry Scroggins episode. We're going to call it Taylor versus Terry. Taylor and the group went out and he took the guys crappie fishing on St. John's and some of the surrounding lakes. Taylor was running the Mudhole Vexus. Terry was running his wrapped Triton. It's going to come out on Mudhole TV, and it was really cool because Terry Scroggins ran him around. They caught some fish. They caught some more fish. They might have, you know, released him in the grease, as our Taylor Bellinger here says. So it's going to be a Terry versus Terry. We'll call it that.
Cool. Coming soon.
Coming soon. All right. Thank you for sticking around with us. Let's give this away, and we'll try to get y'all out of here before 8 o'clock.
All right. Last giveaway of the night.
This is a good one.
Awesome. Love this. All right. $150 Mudhole gift card. Great price.
We got that credit card paid down, right?
Oh, yeah. You know what?
All right. I just want to be sure.
Prep for these shows.
Yeah, right?
Get in
I'm
trouble.
telling you what, that credit card company, they know. I think they got somebody watching. They're like, oh, third Monday.
Get him. Yeah.
We're getting a bill. Here we go.
All right, so the big winner for tonight, Ronald Southworth. Congratulations,
Nice.
Ronald. $150 Mudhole gift card. A lot of good stuff with
That
it.
is fantastic. And Ronald, if you know how to get through with us, here if you're on YouTube, Duff, I think, is running the YouTube. Send us a message there. He'll put up his email address. If you're on Facebook, and this is to all the winners, shoot us a DM, slide into the DMs there. So, and speaking of the other winners, Terry Strong Jr. got some EVA grips coming to you. The CRB rod blank is going to Edward Zahn, hopefully. Zahn? Edward? OEZ coming to you. And then $150 Mudhole gift card going to Ronald Southworth. Now, cannot forget, we put a sale up.
Yes.
And it's live now. Nobody else knows, but y'all know it's live now. 15% off orders of $150 or more. Got to use the code LDS 2021. They really don't do the codes easy for y'all. They do it for us. So, you know, MHL for Mudhole Live and LDS for Labor Day sale. It's not for y'all, it's for us. So the code is LDS 2021. Starts Wednesday, but now.
Yep. And runs through next Tuesday. So you guys got a full week to take advantage of it. That's mudhole.com/Labor Day. And yeah, you guys get the sneak peek. It doesn't technically start until tomorrow, but take advantage of it now, just for you guys at home.
And of course, as we mentioned earlier in the show, we've got the page on the website, mudhole.com/MHL. That's going to take you right where you want to start shopping if you're interested in any of this stuff tonight. It's easy. /MHL, start adding stuff to cart. Now you got your code. You guys are ready to rock. So Tuesday night little shopping spree. Everybody loves that. Episode 78.
Yeah.
What do you think? Cold-blooded builds. I think that was that Steve's idea for the show name? I think that was good. Yeah, Steve loved it, man. That was fantastic. And I think Steve was in the building tonight. We had our celebrity from downstairs. You guys might have talked to him. George was in the building tonight. He was helping out. He runs the team downstairs, does a great job. We had Stuart, I think he was in there. If you're a wholesale customer, you know Stuart. Great dude. He's here for the chicken nuggets. That's what it is. And of course, if you guys follow us on social media, you might have known that we have a TikTok. And TikTok at mudhole.com is where you can find TikTok. And that's our guy. He's right over there. So he's doing some cool stuff, doing some rod builds. You know, might even throw a fishing rod in a lake. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? So for the whole team here, we had Guffey and Taylor doing the questions tonight. Congratulations to the winners. I told you who's in the war room. It's a time. You know, we might have to get some more people in there for chicken nugget night. So of course we had Uncle Phil. Of course, we had Jay on the ones and twos. Hoffman was in here earlier helping us set everything up and get the graphics ready to rock. And as always, my left-hand man, Hunter McCamey. I'm Chris Adams. Guys, we hope you enjoyed it tonight. Shifted gears a little bit. Hope you enjoyed the Mudhole TV episode. More coming soon from that. That clip is a little longer when we show you a little more. So keep your eye out. And, of course, there's going to be a few more TV episodes coming here soon. You can find it at our YouTube channel. And in the group, we'll throw it out. And we're going to see you guys in 3 weeks. We're not sure what we're doing yet because we like to surprise you. So, all right, guys, have a great Tuesday night, and we'll see you for the next one.
Thanks for watching.
Take care.